circus. Charlie Sparks, owner, operator, Sparks world-famous shows. You want to run a circus? Always keep it about the money. It's what my daddy told me when we stayed up till midnight counting pennies in the ticket car, back when Sparks was his. Always keep it about the money. Now, you might have a dream of making a crowd leap to its feet, clamor with one voice. Sparks, Sparks, Sparks. A dream of joining the pantheon. Ringling, Barnum, Bailey, Sparks. But be careful, you're the ringmaster. Dreams aren't for you. Dreams are for rubbernecks. Dreams are for suckers.
Irwin, the town that couldn't remember its own name. True story. It's supposed to be named Irvin after some rich fellow. Postmaster messed up. Spelled it E-R-W-I-N instead. Nobody remembered to fix it. Yep, that's Irwin for you.
I live things. Heavy things. Anything. This gets me on the boat. This gets me to a matter. This gets me to circus.
Never been nowhere. Worked a steam shovel down at Irwin rail yard. Dig holes all day. One hole after another. That paper saying might go to war with the Kaiser, I'll be the first to sign up. Ooh-wee, what a patriotic young man. Hell, I ain't patriotic, just bored.
Ballet girl, ballet girl, ballet girl. Can't dance. Practically old enough to have a girl of my own, but ballet girl it is. Not a showgirl, a ballet girl. Substitute ballet for show, and I'm not a scandal. I'm an artist. Not a temptress in tights. I'm a dancer. We walk the wire, we ballet girls, between decency and lewdness. I need to find my balance. The name is a start, and then the smile of an innocent flower. Spotless, pristine, blameless. That's me from head to toe.
Mud. Yellow mud. Everywhere. Boardwalks help some. Not enough. Always scraping it off your shoes. Enough to drive a person crazy, all that scraping. Buried 2 kids in the mud. Husband. Mud trying to swallow me up. Swallow this whole town up. God's punishing us for something. Take another flood to wash Irwin clean.
I finished putting up the Irwin Evergreen Free Will Church in July. Turns out I might have been a bit optimistic about having rows of pews I needed. A little quiet on Sundays. Love, forgiveness, joy. Well, I'll keep on testifying it, but there's nothing more lonely than a New Testament preacher in an Old Testament town.
It's love. Feed her, wash her, sleep with her. Hell, at the end of the day, I even have a drink with her. Pour some whiskey in her bucket, mix it with some water. She loves it. Sticks her trunk right in, it's gone in a second. I'm lucky. They live a long time. If you play your cards right, you got a friend for life.
Good use Mark Ransom get. Play with my sister Ellie. Skip Stone's train. Read Tarzan books. He's something. Read him right before bed. Gives me the best dreams.
Too old, Lion. He's laugh, easy. And we Joeys give kids more than laughs. Give them perspective. A lesson to carry forever. Biggie, that there's always someone else worse off than you. Except for us. Nothing below a clown. We all pull rank, even the ballet girls. We're the last ones to use the makeup here, even though we use the most makeup. Let me put it this way. How many ringmasters does it take to change a light bulb? None. They tell the clowns to do it.
Irwin, rising taller each year. Best this country has to offer. Peaceful. Keep it that way. Folks around here honest, law-abiding. Ain't the folks around here I'm worried about. It's the strangers. It's that damn train station.
All the traveling from town to town, all the firing, hiring, me. Firing happens all the time. Fella's lucky he gets fired in one of the towns during a stop. Unlucky, he gets red lighted, tossed off our train while it's moving. Sucker don't see nothing but the red lights of the caboose as it fades away. And hiring, yeah, a lot of that too. Circus needs plenty of muscle, and not just in the ring. Townies get out of line now and then. Want to prove they're tougher than the strong man, get fresh with the ballet girl?
Sparks sees any funny business, he calls it the hay root. I've got to teach every new hire. They hear that hay root, they drop whatever they're doing to bend their own. And that's just the tip. I keep track of everything. People, animals, lumber. Hell, we're like a little town of our own, carrying all of our buildings in our backs.
It was September, and there was a town, and a circus, and a railroad.
See, the railroad invented time in this country. Before us, it was chaos. Every town in America declaring its own, and every clock for itself. See, people set clocks to the sun, like cavemen. We came along. We changed all that. See, time isn't relative, time is precise. Time isn't gray, it's black, white. And the circus favored our proclamation. Before us, circus traveled by wagon, lived into town at any hour of the day, covered in mud and hog-scat. See, we came along. We changed all that. They could depend on us. We're the metronome. We're the click-clack, click-clack, click-clack that lulls them off to sleep. Men, horses, elephants, they all sleep with us in their ears. Click-clack, click-clack, click-clack like a second hand. On time, always on time. And Irwin? See, without us, time will pass them by. Not every town gets a train station. The station in Irwin might stand out, become something special, get a ribbon around its neck. Industry, progress. We can bring it all to their doorstep. Without us, Irwin will just be another tiny town in Tennessee, a town nobody's heard. The circus, Irwin, they have our guarantee. You can depend on the railroad.
It was September, and there was a town.
There was a circus.
There was a railroad.
And there was an elephant.
Mary.
We dreamed her before we saw her.
She was plastered on every telephone pole.
Every fence post.
Every barn door.
September.
The circus was coming.
She was coming.
To our muddy town.
It was all there in black and white.
And color.
It said,
Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, Sparks, world famous shows, the show that never broke a
Moral,
bone.
entertaining, instructive.
25 years, honest deal with the public.
Proudly presents its tremendous exhibition of wealth and splendor.
All new for 1916.
Starring Mary, the largest living land animal on earth.
Death-defying feats of skill and Eddie.
Mary, over 5 tons.
2 packs of man-killing lions.
Eddie, clean as Thompson jumble.
5,000 seats.
Mary, guaranteed at every performance.
A free street parade. Each day is Mary.
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 Mary. Mary. Mary. Mary. Mary.
An elephant is an investment. You open up your pocketbook, you throw down the $8,000. You don't think about it again. Simple. You've got the trained seals, the trapeze, strong man. Fine, but they're not your bread and butter. No rubberneck comes to a circus doesn't have an elephant. Strike that. No rubberneck comes to a circus doesn't have a big elephant. Ever since Barnum and that damn Jumbo. Jumbo was big. He was big. The biggest, yes. Not as big as the freight train that hit him, but big. Now, Barnum understood investments. Sued the train company for insurance, turned around, pocketed that, paraded a stuffed corpse across the country, charged money for that. Well, until it started to fall apart. Till they couldn't rightly call what he had left an elephant. Till he was parading around a 10-ton ghost.
They love a parade. All elephants do in the wild anyway. Walk around. Wild elephant herd follows the leader. And the leader's always the biggest female. I got no reason to mess with that here. So they all march behind Mary. Shadrach, Penny, Sue, Little Mabel, one behind the other, trunk wrapped and the tail in front of her. All females. Easier. Males go into heat, go nuts, not worth the trouble. Easier to stick with the women. Take a stroll with my gals, and let me tell you, the only thing better than watching the elephant parade is being in the elephant parade. Only thing better than being in the elephant parade is leading it. A dream. Sitting on top of the world. Little shorty. On top of my own personal mountain. On top of Mary. Legs wrapped behind the back, head in the clouds.
No! So tell me, doesn't cost us much. I am not as temperamental. I do not shit all over the stage. So tell me, please have the courtesy to inform me. Why is the elephant the star of the show?
My name, my smile. They buy me some wiggle room. Wiggle room I need. Just one time to create safe, nothing more than a wholesome ballet girl. Then I add the elephant. 5 tons of gray flesh throwing me half naked into the ring, wrapped up tightly in its trunk. That's right, the innocent object of desire wrapped in a dingling 10 feet long. And the best part, that trunk is always up. Bad luck to let your trunk droop in the circus. That's the first thing an elephant learns. Oh, I'm never more powerful, sensual, dangerous than when I'm with Mary. Keep your spangles, your headdress, your makeup. Diamonds? Diamonds are nothing. An elephant is a girl's best friend.
They're not just for show. Hardest workers I've got. Shorty acts like that's not part of their job description, but once that train stops in the town, they're mine. Get them to load and unload the boxcars, push up the tent poles. Those sons of bitches can do anything.
Nobody looks down on the elephants, right? They don't have to put on the makeup or play the dope to get the applause. They're too mighty to ever be being humble, too strong to ever be broken, too big to ever be laid low. And Mary is the biggest we joys have ever seen, so we love her the most.
So, when an opportunity comes along, you learn not to ask too many questions. Ringling tells you they have a tusker for 8,000. You don't probe. You don't wonder why she's suddenly not worth so much. Could be anything. Maybe panicked one night. Maybe ran out of the ring. Maybe hurt somebody. Maybe. See, here's the thing. It doesn't matter. You change your name to say Mary. Guess what? You've got yourself a brand new star. Listen, an elephant is not attachments. An elephant isn't a friend. It isn't cute. It's not a symbol for something else. An elephant is an elephant. And an elephant is an investment.
It was September, and there was a town, and there was a railroad, and there was a circus, and an elephant, and last but not least, there was a man with red hair.
Kingsport. The menfolk loved us in Kingsport, and I mean loved us. Joey's had to mop up all the drool afterwards. Mary and I triumphantly exited the tent after our act to a chorus of catcalls.
Tennessee started off with a bang. We killed him at Kingsport. Circus can tell how well it goes over by how many locals want to run with it afterwards. 15. Now that was a record. 10 of them were 6 or 7 years old, went back to mommy. But 5 were all right. Big, tough, couldn't be helped with the next hay brew.
I was giving Mary a celebratory smooch when this tall guy came out of the shadows, started walking towards me, mouth open like he was hypnotized. Had these intense blue eyes and bright red hair. I put on my innocent smile and looked around for muscle in case the guy was trouble. Nobody else in sight. I kept smiling, ready to run. And that's when I saw it. He wasn't looking at me, he was looking at Mary. I let out my breath. Guy was about 25 or so, but he looked like a kid while he stared at her. That glow reminded me of when I started out. I asked what I could do for him, and he pointed at Mary and said, "Hey, I want to join up." How do I join up?
A ballet girl brought over this guy. Hilarious. Shocker red hair like a clown. 1 foot in the circus already. Tell him I've got lots of newbies to choose from here. Lots of first amaze. Why pick him? He tells me he's good at animals. I say, "Okay, good at animals? Good. How are you shoving up their shit?" He flinches, then he says, "Fine." I steer him towards the horses, but he says, "No, I want to work the elephants. I have to work the elephants." I tell him, "Your funeral, Red. Elephant shit's the heaviest shit there is."
Lou walked by with this red-haired man, another beanpole, another first of May. Why bother hiring these weaklings?
First of May walks by with blue, red hair, about 25, 6. Uh-oh, trouble, 25. I tell him to stick out his tongue and say, aha! Diagnosis, circus fever, terminal case. The guy blushes and Lou laughs and brings him towards Shorty's car. He's got the fever all right, but a little late. A grown man following a kid's dream.
Lou knocks on my car and tells me I got a new roommate. Goofy-looking red-haired guy. I tell him it's crowded enough in here with 5 elephants, but he insists. Tells me Red's been a partner. Don't like partners. Partners don't have the patience. Some first of May who's got it in his head he's going to be a big tusker trainer. My gals deserve better. They deserve me. But I'm not going to be a jerk about it. I show Red his corner. He grabs about the smell. I tell him get used to it. Cannons think elephants smell bad in the ring. Try sleeping with one in a boxcar. He shuts up when he sees Mary though. Looks at her like she's the answer to his prayers. I don't know what's wrong with the guy. He's a nut, or soft in the head, or what. In any case, I ain't gonna turn my back on him. I may not be big, but if Red makes one wrong move, he's getting the red light.
Shorty, so easy to rile up, like a mama hen. We slammed the door and the train started up. We left Kingsport for Irwin. On time.
Once you start moving, who comes to your car and tells you your advancement wired back with good news? Irwin hasn't seen a circus in years. Now, that's just what you want to hear. Whether it knows it or not, Irwin's been saving up. Irwin's been starving for cotton candy, popcorn, pink lemonade, whatever your candy butchers can shovel into their kisses. Because towns like Irwin are gold. Your elephant becomes what she was born to be. 5-ton cash register.
Click clack through the night. Their boxcars, our engine, our rails. Irwin is waiting, and we will not disappoint. You can depend on the railroad.
Dig. Dig, dig, dig. Dig, dig. Lunch. Dig, dig, dig. Dinner. Home. Drink. Tired. Drink. Ache. Drink. Nothing. Drink. Nothing. Nothing. Drink. Train. Whistle. Elephant. Circus.
Ellie woke me up at 4 a.m. I cussed her out. Thought we was gonna be late. Peeped in at our folks, still sleeping. Snuck out the window, ran as fast as we could. See would they do it. We were all there. All the kids in Irwin there to watch him set up the big top. The greatest freak show on earth. Train whistled, brakes screamed, men and animals stomped out of every door. Everybody marched around. Seems to know what they're doing. Except this red-haired guy. He kept bumping into stuff and tripping on ropes. People yelled at him. His face turned as red as his hair. Funny, it's like a clown. Then this big elephant came out. I about pissed myself. Bigger than the one we saw a few years back. Lots bigger. Never saw nothing this big. Hey, this big trumpet. We about pissed ourselves. The men unloaded the main tent pole and set it right between that thing's eyes. It walked on forward, boom, boom, boom. Pushing that pole in the air as it stomped higher, higher, and higher. Holding that pole there so I could fix it in place. It was like a dream. Loud dream, I guess. Full of hammering and pounding and cursing. Like watching an entire city get built in 2 hours. That's about my favorite part of the circus. Watching it set up, that, and the parade. Was really looking forward to that parade.
About 9 a.m., Ringmaster cleared the route with me. Told me to keep the horses away. Could spook the elephants. Yes, sir, yes, sir. Whatever you want, sir. Main Street will hold its horses. Hell, not enough I gotta let the circus come to town and pick the pockets of all us. I gotta roll out the red carpet for them while they do it.
Got myself a soda pop in a front row spot. Girl never knows how many brains she's got left in her. Have to pay each one count. Glad I got there when I did. It was early, but street was filling. James. I was there for James and the kids. They always loved a circus parade.
It was his childhood dream.
I showed Red how to feed her. Rumor. That was it. That's all he knew.
That Red came up to me right before the Irwin parade started. Asked me real polite like.
One day? What the hell can you learn in one day? Anything.
A chance to get Shorty all worked up.
In India, a guy stays with an elephant his whole life. Like a goddamn marriage. Here Lou waltzes in and says,
Big deal, Shorty. Fred wants to ride Mary in the march. Back off and give the new guy a chance.
I'm thinking no. No, he can ride little Mabel, fine. Shadrach even. But Mary?
You're on Shadrach, Red's on Mary. Is that a problem?
Should have said something. Should have told him she was mine.
You didn't say nothing.
I didn't say nothing. Maybe made a face. That was my big protest. A face.
The kisser on that guy.
It's trust. Trust you build up over years, not one day. Every peanut, every bat, every pat on the trunk. It's trust. Love. But Red didn't have time for any of that. Red had a parade.
Shorty's on Shadrach, but he still has to make the call. They won't start blocking for anyone but him.
Trunks up.
I opened the doors to the church, and the steps were thick with people, faces I'd never seen before. I was fixing to thank Jesus for answering my prayers. People weren't trying to get in, though. Steps was the best place to face out. To see the parade provided a little height. All there. The whole town was lining the streets. White, colored, man, woman, child. All there. Glow in their eyes. Waiting to see a miracle. Well, if I could provide that glow on Sundays, at least there was something that could.
Right down Main Street. Our Main Street.
Had the day off from the shovel. Everyone had the day off. Circus day.
Ellie and I were about pissing ourselves. Elephants, clowns, tigers, all mucking down our Main Street through our yellow mud.
Made everyone look like something for once.
Could hear the brass band and bass drum for miles. But on all of them circus folk. Hems of their dresses, tails of their coats.
Colors we've never dreamed of.
So long, stretched on forever.
Elephant had Irwin mud all over it.
Our yellow town got all purple and silver and red.
That big elephant was leading that whole thing. Goofy guy, red hair, he was up on her back. Mary, 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 Mary.
Hogs. Hogs must have been spooked something terrible to act like that. Those piggies are used to the life of riding, just running up and down Main Street, eating whatever falls to the ground. Urban garbage collectors. But not that day. That day a band was playing, people rushing out, circus plowing through the middle of our town. No way that hogs ain't scared. Urban garbage department on strike until further notice. Clean up your own junk, people of Urban. We on strike. Thus, the hogs left the prize, like the holy grail of garbage untouched in the mud. A juicy chunk of water. That's when the dominoes started falling. Elephant sees melon. Elephant walks towards melon. Elephant rider turns red. Elephant rider encourages elephant to abandon melon. Elephant ignores elephant rider. Elephant rider's most insistent to the tune of elephant hook across elephant head. Elephant keeps walking towards melon. Elephant holds up grave. Elephant rider turns red. Elephant rider breaks elephant hook across elephant tusk. And elephant thinks. Elephant decides she's had enough of elephant rider. Elephant picks elephant rider off elephant back with elephant trunk. Elephant trunk throws elephant rider into soda pop stand. Elephant rider groans in the rubble. Elephant rider thinks it's over. Elephant rider's wrong. Elephant walks over to elephant rider and puts elephant foot on elephant rider head. Elephant rider screams. Elephant foot steps on down. Elephant rider head explodes like a melon. Elephant rider turns red. Elephant walks away. Elephant rider don't. Elephant, free of elephant rider, strolls on over and helps herself to some melon. Simple. Parade stops, man dies, elephant turns killer. All for a melon. All for the want of a hog.
Nothing. The thing didn't flinch. Somebody screamed, townsfolk ran off in a panic. I couldn't do nothing but stand there, holding my empty pocket. Well, that thing kept eating the melon, ripping apart its little snack. Well, that poor man's crushed head sat next to it, all opened up and leaking. Ringmaster ran up and told me we'll settle this later. I told him, yes, we will. Then a little guy led that thing back to the fairgrounds, while some carnies carted that leaking fella off in one of them animal cages. Clowns washed the streets down with buckets of water, vanished. Quiet for a minute, like nothing happened. Hogs came back, then the people. Most of them were crying. A few were laughing. At me.
Folks lined up again, 3 deep in the street, waiting for someone to tell them what to do. I propped the church doors open, but no one came in.
There was a pool of blood and brains in the front of the post office.
I heard his head crack open again in my head. Sharp cracks and soft ones, one after another. Crack, 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 crack.
She stepped on his skull, crushed it, sent another body into the mud.
No one came in.
I couldn't stop looking at that blood.
Crack, crack, crack.
Town's cursed.
No one.
Heard that fellow was from Kingsport.
I think thought she knew him.
Could have been any of us.
Carl said she killed 2 men in Virginia.
7 men?
18?
Right on Main Street! You can't just do that, can you? Go around killing people? Our Main Street!
Tarzan would have stopped her. Tarzan would have jumped on her back and stabbed her in the eyes and gouged out her brain.
Right on Main Street!
Eye for an eye! Eye for an eye! Maybe God will stop punishing us.
Our Main Street! It can't just kill it! Don't have to
Right on Main Street!
Our Main Street!
Right on Main Street!
Our Main Street!
Right on Main Street!
It could have ended there, but that wouldn't have been right. That wouldn't have been justice. No, maybe my pistol didn't mean squat to that thing, but goddammit, we'd find something that would. It wasn't walking away from this. Irwin, don't look kindly upon murderers.
Crowd breaks up and follows the marshal into the saloon. Talk to me, stand in the doorway. Here to talk, talk about public menace. Talk about what you do with rabid dogs. Talk about what's right and wrong. How do you look at each other? They run and walk off. I do the same. I stared at the steps, the empty steps, and I walked to the church and let the doors swing shut behind me. Standing on the promises that cannot fail when the howling storms of doubt and fear assail. By the living word of Christ, I shall fail. Standing on the promises of God.
Tried to get in touch with Fred's family, friends. Didn't have none.
Like he didn't exist except for us. Like he was born to do nothing, cause us trouble.
Poor kid.
He did not understand. You were on top of her, but she is strong one, not you.
Us Joey said a few words and then buried him in the fairgrounds.
Still have a show to do that night? Must go on. Doors!
I told Charlie, maybe we should keep Mary out. Maybe people forget. But you told me what I already knew.
They won't forget. They're not coming to see a show. They're coming to see a killer.
He was right. It would have been a riot if you kept her away.
Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, Sparks World Famous Shows proudly presents.
Normal night we play up the danger. Talk up the toothless tiger. Not this time. Brought Mary out like she was most innocent of God's creatures. I'm thinking, look at her. Look at her. She's just a big dumb animal. Can we agree on that? All our ones here under one tent. This ain't no killer. Please.
The two of us arriving into the ring didn't usually get a gasp, but circumstances have changed. I tried to draw the crowd's attention away from Mary. I licked my lips, tossed my hair, and threw myself out there like a 2-cent whore. Nothing. Their trousers stayed creased. I was playing to a tent full of eunuchs. Fine. Forget about lust then. Innocence would win the day. Hey, look at me, all of you. Here I am, all wrapped up, cuddled up in the very trunk that did the deed. And am I scared? Am I trembling? I am smiling. Smiling. The brightest beams of white forgiveness I could, until I thought the corners of my mouth would crack open and gush blood over the sawdust. But it didn't work. Those people weren't there to forgive. They stood up and pelted us with popcorn, and then they made this sound.
It comes true. Your dream finally comes true. In a tiny town in Tennessee, the crowd leaps to its feet, speaks with one voice, shakes the air, makes it tremble. But it's not the sparks, sparks, sparks that you dreamed of. But oh, they scream until their lungs ache, louder than any lion's roar. Young and old, united in one glorious moment of certainty. Their scream, their chant, their heart's greatest wish.
Kill it.
Kill it.
Kill it.
Kill it.
Kill it. Kill it.
Kill it.
Kill it.
Did everyone around us start throwing stuff at him?
So Ellie beat one member of our cotton canyon of baseball and tossed as hard as we could. It got louder. The Marshal and people were waving guns around. Everybody shouted, all except the colored section.
Don't need to say nothing. I don't get no vote. Better keep your mouth shut.
Then the clown started to talk. Never did let him go.
No. Bring us one of us. Party service. Kill it. This doesn't concern you. You town is not no blame here. The military has no word. So's the circus. The circus court of appeals.
This little guy came out.
She was screaming to the left of us. They have nerves there, big ones. They don't know half the truth. But I saw, you all saw, why did you spit on her trying to make her behave? Stay in line. She stopped him. That's all. She stopped him.
The Marshal and the new preacher stood up.
These carnets can talk all they want, but we know what we see, and the people of Irwin demand.
No, we don't. I didn't cast no vote. No vote was counted. Don't stand there all huffed up with false pride and tell me that the people of Irwin demand this elephant die. Because I don't. Or add that in if you want to. Say, the people of Irwin minus the preacher. But it doesn't have the same power, does it? Adding that minus in there. It doesn't have the right ring. But you have to find some way to leave me out of it. I'm a person, God knows. But I'm not the people. I am not.
We know what we see, and the people of Irwin demand justice.
Louder! They're the strong men. Marshal, shout at the Ringmaster.
Call it, Sparks! Call it, Haru! Call it!
But the Ringmaster didn't do nothing.
They want to know! Let loose the lions, the tigers! The Japanese want to know who's stronger! Thompson! The straw hats! Get a beauty check! Call it, Sparks! Call it, Haru! Call it!
Finally, the Ringmaster raised his hand, and everything got quiet.
Now, $8,000. It's a lot to lose. It's a lot to lose in a pig town in the middle of nowhere. But investments get tricky when the people want blood. Because, well, it's not just Irwin. Your advancemen wire back from your upcoming stops. Johnson City, Rogersville, Indian Ridge. Your circus isn't welcome until that elephant is taken care of. So, she's still worth the $8,000? She's still worth anything. Why? Try selling her to another circus while no one's looking. Maybe you make back part of your money anyway. But people are looking. Elephants don't just disappear. So, you know what your dad would do? Go do it. Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, the circus understands. The circus understands your wishes. This merry matter shall be taken care of to your liking, and we are open to suggestions.
See, we have the answer. We always have the answer. Now, at first, they choose not to listen to the whisper of our rails, and the Marshal knew shooting it with a pistol hadn't worked. So, talked about getting a rifle, or better yet, a Civil War cannon at the nearby museum. Click-clack, wrong track. They whispered loudly. So they talked about electrocuting, frying it, like some of them had seen in that motion picture Thomas Edison made. Well, that was communism. That wasn't dreaming big enough. They whispered loudly, would not be ignored. And somebody finally heard us. The rail guard. There's a crane there that can lift 100 tons. It says so on the side. Right there in black and white. See, nothing gray can stand up for that much black and white. Now,
Something like that could do something special. Something never done before. Why, something like that would hang her. Hang her like any other murderer. See, she would be big, but the railroad crane is bigger. The crane will get the job done. The crane will do the trick. The crane is the railroad after all, and you can always depend on the railroad.
Hanging suits me fine, I guess. Still think the cannon would be better.
Eye for an eye, or it will finally be clean.
I'd have never believed it. Irwin's the place to be tomorrow. Ain't nobody else, and I mean nobody. Nobody else is hanging an elephant tomorrow. So that's something. That's something we got. You want to see it? You get off your fat ass and come here for a change.
So now, Lou and Sparks need my help. So now Brent's forgotten. It's just me. I asked them. I wasn't good enough to handle her when she was alive, but I'm good enough to help you kill her. They say however you want to put it. So what am I going to do? Leave? No. I stay. I stay because if I don't, they'll mess it up. It'll be even worse of a spectacle. Lou and Sparks are happy this is my answer. They smile and open their mouths, but I stop them. Tell them, don't think I've forgiven you. Don't think that I will never forgive you. This they're not so happy about. But I tell them, go ahead. What's your question? They ask how to get her out to the rail yard tomorrow, for all those people without all hell breaking loose. I think. I tell them Tuskers aren't stupid. They know when something's up. You have to make her think it's a normal march. She can't go out there alone. They all have to be there. Shadrach, Penny, Sue, little Mabel, all from trunk to tail like always. Then what? Then this. Then chain Mary's foot to the track underneath the crane so she can't move. Then Lou lead the rest of the elephants away fast before they smell the panic on her. Then someone runs up her back and puts a hanging chain around her neck. Someone she knows. Someone she trusts. They look at me like I'm crazy. I tell them to relax. I tell them I'll do it.
Finished the cake about midnight. Not a big one. Best I could manage. Had to fix something. Wasn't going to be the only woman empty-handed.
I couldn't stop thinking of the glow, like picking at a scab. I prayed for hours. I tried to sleep, but I closed my eyes and all I could see was theirs, glowing.
I stayed in my boxcar all night, afraid to see what Shorty's face looked like.
I give her a peanut, bath, out of the trunk, bring her bucket after bucket of whiskey water. Might help some for tomorrow. Dull it maybe. Hope it won't make it worse.
Shorty won't let anyone near her. So I wait till he falls asleep at her feet. Step over him. Call into her trunk. Stroking it. Mary cradles me, swinging me back and forth until I drift off.
Ellie and me stayed all night whispering under the covers. She asks me if I read to her, and I do. Until she falls asleep. I go to pee, and I hear crying through Mom's door. Crying? On the night before the best day ever. I can't figure her sometimes.
I stopped by Walter's to make sure she's getting the band together for tomorrow. Whole thing won't seem right without some music.
Irwin was lively that night. Bars crowded, streets full of trouble. What would normally be trouble. I walked up and down Main Street, past every being drunk in town. Funny feeling. Never felt safe.
Stay up till I don't know when with Carl and them. Drinking till I have to be carried home. Then I just lie back in bed with a big grin on my face. Can't sleep. Can't stop smiling. Imagine that. Heading to the rail yard in the morning and I couldn't be happier.
crane is oiled and tested, a small but appreciative crowd gathers at its feet to watch it swing its arm, left and right, up and down. I smile. These who are here now, at midnight, they understand.
She's too mighty, too strong, too big. They'll see. Joke's gonna be on them.
He will call it. The hero. You will not let this happen. I must rest. I must be strong. He will call it.
You don't sleep. You think. You wish you could charge admission tomorrow, but it's not your show. It's theirs.
Masses waiting below with held breath to see if it was possible. If the railroad had actually killed a relative dead for them. I smiled. A reassuring smile. You can depend on the railroad. I placed my hand on the hanging lever. I gripped the handle hard, tasting those silent seconds, rolling them around in my mouth, knowing that this part, the before part, would be the best part of all. I threw the lever, and time started up again. The crane groaned, gears grinding, and
Damn, if that thing don't lift off the ground, an elephant for Christ's sake.
It rose up steady till it was standing on its hind legs. Tiptoe, toenails scraping the railroad tracks. Tiptoe, like it was doing a trick.
Well, we started clapping again, and I flashed a big smile down at Carl and them because they bet me there was no way in hell that that elephant was ever going to leave Mother Earth.
But then, we started wondering why that thing wasn't going any higher up.
You're sounding kind of stuck.
I got to thinking, maybe she's too heavy. Maybe a crane can lift 100 tons of steel, but not a 5-ton animal. Maybe an elephant's soul is too heavy. Maybe her soul is as heavy as the rest of her. That wasn't it.
no, it wasn't the crane. The crane could lift her, the crane could lift her fine.
It was a people problem, not a crane problem. See, people don't always remember so good, even a big crowd of people, even thousands of people. People tend to forget the little details when they've got an elephant hanging in front of them. And nobody did. Nobody remembered to unhook her. Nobody remembered her foot was still chained to the railroad track. Her foot was still chained to the track.
So they were kind of ripping her in half a bit, pulling her leg at this weird angle, or her leg trying to hold her down to the ground while the rest of her was headed up.
Her leg broke. A bone, about as big as my whole body, breaking. I could feel it in my spine. My spine buckled, ached in sympathy, rang like a tuning fork.
Ellie started crying.
Should have left then, I suppose.
Ellie wanted to leave.
But I stayed.
Baby?
Stayed to see them unhook her foot, lift her up again.
Baby?
To see her trunk flailing around, stabbing the air every which way, trying to grab a hold of something.
Baby?
Think she was nearly gone then. Or would have been soon.
No.
That is, if the chain hadn't broke.
No.
But it broke.
No.
The chain round her neck broke.
No.
See, it wasn't the crane. The crane could lift her, the crane could lift her fine.
It was a chain problem, not a crane problem. Chain round your neck couldn't handle all that weight. Weakest link, right?
The chain popped, and she came crashing down on the railroad track with this sound like an oak tree cracking in half.
I think she broke her hip. Like kind of went out of her. Couldn't seem to move. Couldn't seem to get off the side.
It was loose.
Free.
That little guy who climbed in before started screaming like he was the one who fell down. He called out to somebody, and they handed him a thicker link chain, and I couldn't believe it, but he just ran up her back again.
Christ.
His face was all red and twisted up, but he just ran up there, picked her up, and ran off.
Nobody clapped this time. It didn't seem... In fact, some people started leaving. Some of the women leaving the kids off anyway. Most stayed. I stayed. Stuck it out this far, I figured. So,
Crane lifted it off its feet again. Higher.
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 She made some noises. Some air just kind of popped out of her trunk, and then that was it.
I let my breath out. I breathed in, lungs searching for that sanctified air. The air, it tasted no different. It was flat and stale and rank. They hung that bitch for nothing. I still got mud on my shoes.
Made that crane keep swinging here for 20 minutes longer than they had to. Townies were waiting for her to let loose a bellow, rip herself free. Something that big couldn't die, could it? Something that full of life. So they kept her up there. She was long gone. History, I know the instant she passed. Bad luck to point down with your trunk. You teach them that first thing. Never point down with your trunk. But She didn't care about that anymore. Looks like I might need some diamonds after all.
Look at that thing swing. Now there are people in this here country that'll tell you, we've become a small nation. A nation of little people, full of little dreams, staring at the ground instead of the stars. But look at what we did here today, and tell me this country is dying. Look at what we did in Irwin, and tell me there ain't no more dreamers. We hung a goddamn elephant today. An elephant. We made the impossible possible. So pack up your grip and go if you don't love this country, if you can't see the glory that surrounds you, if you want to stay in the mud. Because this is America, goddammit, and we can do anything we dream of. Anything at all.
It dangles so effortlessly. Taunting me. I could never look like that. I could never. I tried once, just to see if I could not. Not even little Mabel, not even the baby. But there she is. Her star. Slipped off her feet. My back. Mocks me. Mocks me. Oh. Mocks me.
I've forgotten about the rest of them. Everybody forgot. But once that crane set that poor beast down on the ground, her sisters came lumbering back into the yard. Quiet, reverential. Walked right through the thousands of people gathered around like we were invisible. Marched right up and stood over her. They opened their mouths and their prayers didn't make a sound, but the air felt like it was moving, like it was trembling. Them elephants bent down and they caressed that Mary with their trunks, like they were calming her, soothing her spirit, paying her last respects. And that little man, he walked up to the biggest one of them, petted her, whispered something in one of those huge ears, and let her out. Other elephants fell in behind, grabbing the tail of the one in front of them, walking off in a funeral processional. I fell in too, brought up the rear. Best be getting home, gather my notes. Glow was gone. Had a feeling it was going to be crowded on Sunday.
I'm red light myself. I'll settle down somewhere. Work at the zoo. It don't matter. I'll get older. I'll die. It's your show now, Shadrach. Spark is out.
Bobby and you need good switching that night. What's the worst part though? Worst part was the dreams.
Johnson City was in 2 days. We'd be ready.
Elephants got those brains like traps. Don't forget nothing. All those peanuts they eat. People got short memories. Let go of a memory just as soon as you give it to them. But not me. I ate peanuts. Stops it all from blurring together. Them colored boys went out to the yard must blur together something fierce, because nobody ever talks about how they hung colored boys around. They just talk about how they hung an elephant. Danny's. Peanut. Why? Why'd the elephant cross the road?
What did the banana say to the elephant? How can you tell if an elephant's sleeping?
Hey. Hey. Thick mud. Hard to bear a squirrel. Much less I got a steam shovel. I can dig the hole. You hear? I can dig the hole. Hey. Hey. That's what we got machines for in the first place, right? To help people? To make the job easier? What? What? I can dig the hole. I can dig the hole. Let me dig the hole. Please.
Wake up the clowns. You wake up the clowns. You put the shovels back in their hands. You tell them to dig her up. You tell them to dig her up and saw off her tusks. You have to see what you can salvage, what you can get for them. For the ivory, for the tusks. An elephant is an investment.